Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Five Strikes Tonight. My name is Sydney Hunt. However, you're watching tonight, thank you for joining me this evening, Friday, April 8th, 2022. Normally on Thursday night, 7 p.m. here on the Dirty South Soccer Facebook and YouTube channels, and also at Dirty South Soccer on Twitter. But little scheduling update for this week. Decided to switch it off to Friday night this week just to, like I said, some scheduling things that came up. So happy to have you along. I know it's been a while since we've been with you. We're actually with you before the international break, but yeah, good to be back and good to be coming to you live this Friday night. I know the Atlanta Braves have started off their season actually yesterday. Little disclaimer, I'm a New York Mets fan, as many of you know, so hopefully the Mets have a good year. They actually started yesterday as well, but baseball season in full effect here. But we're here to talk about soccer. We're here to talk about Major League Soccer as we always do. We're here to talk about tonight Atlanta United and Charlotte FC coming up Sunday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. kickoff. Well, that's the scheduled kickoff time. We all know these things, how these things go. ABC will be carrying the match nationwide. Atlanta United and Charlotte FC meeting for the second time all time. We, of course, know what happened the last time these two teams met over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Dick Mulroney scoring a last gasp goal to give Atlanta United a victory, really in the dying embers of the match. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this time around, as the scene shifts to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, how things go, whether there'll be dramatics this time around or if things will be relatively straightforward. But again, scheduled kickoff 1:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC on Sunday. Joining me to talk about the match is Lee from Charlotte or CLTFC Fan TV. He runs that over in the Queen City. Lee, good evening. Happy Friday. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for coming on, and I have to kind of give a little bit of a disclaimer. I actually used to live in Charlotte for 5 years. Love the city. Have a lot of friends up there.
So you're
Um,
really a Charlotte fan then, yeah?
I don't want to go that far. Don't want to go that far, but yeah, just a great city. I used to live in Cabarrus County. I don't know where you are in
Yeah,
the Charlotte area,
right
but
by Lake Norman.
excellent, excellent. So, give me a sense of really how the city of Charlotte and how the Carolinas have taken the Charlotte FC here in their first season.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's been pretty positive. Obviously, we had some negatives coming out with ticket prices, right, and the PSLs and that sort of thing. But overall, it's been pretty positive. We've, obviously against the Galaxy, we broke y'all's record, right, of the stadium and the attendance record. And then, the last two home games we had, it's been pretty packed out. So yeah, it's the momentum's there. Hopefully, we don't turn into a Cincinnati and just start losing a whole bunch. But overall, I think that it's positive vibes, at least for the first year, at least.
No, it's good to hear. I mean, Atlanta, we kind of had that same uncertainty, I guess, how fans would take to a Major League Soccer franchise
Right,
before Atlanta United got started back in the mid 2010s and leading up to their first match in
right.
2017. And of course, you've seen how things have exploded here in Atlanta from afar.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see what happens with Charlotte. I mean, things seem to be off to a good start fan wise. I actually saw Keke Short from the Panthers tweet out that he wanted to make it up to um, Charlotte FC match at some
Yeah.
point. But give me a sense of what your soccer fanhood has been leading up to becoming a Charlotte FC supporter.
Yeah, I mean, so originally I'm from England and I moved to Charlotte late 80s, early 90s. So,
Okay.
soccer's always been in my blood. And it's the thoughts of when are we going to get a team? How soon can we get a team? Because back then, it was watching or just reading the newspaper clips, and then obviously with the way the internet came about, and satellite TV and that sort of thing, cable TV. Right now, we get the Premier League, which is great. I'm a big Spurs fan, have been all my life, and yeah, so once Charlotte finally got a team of our own, it was time to lock in, and obviously we created a fan TV channel, and yeah, we've been pretty blessed. The club's been pretty welcoming, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun building a community. I met a lot of people I probably wouldn't have met otherwise, and so yeah, it's just, man, we're stoked. We're just so glad to have a team here as well as I am.
Yeah, you said you've been here in the States, since the '80s. I hear that Southern accent, but I can hear that little peak of that British accent coming
Yeah,
out just a little
yeah,
bit as you talk. But,
right,
you say you're a Spurs fan, so I guess you're used
yeah.
to disappointment, but,
Ugh,
no,
but
we'll leave it at that. We'll leave
yeah,
it at
yeah, as long
that.
as you're not Arsenal or Chelsea, man, we'll be
Right.
cool.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. But,
Yeah,
yeah, let's talk about, Charlotte FC and,
mhm,
yeah, some of the press leading up to its kickoff has been about, PSL's ticket prices,
yeah,
etcetera. The comments that Miguel Angel Ramirez made before the season, essentially saying that, his hands were tied
right,
because of the roster rules that MLS have. And
mhm.
listen, I mean, people that follow the league really since its inception probably still don't know what the roster rules are and still don't
It's like you
understand
need
the
a
roster
PhD, man, to
rules.
understand it for real.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Here they are, in a decent position. They looked really good against Atlanta United. Traveling support was terrific. I don't know if you were there in Atlanta,
I
but
was, yeah,
excellent. So you're really familiar with the traveling support, which I expected.
mhm,
It's great to see, so many Charlotte FC fans make the trip
yeah,
down I-85. But they're in okay shape. They look good against DC United, and here they are. Um, uh, 2 wins, 4 losses, and 0 draws. So they're kind of still finding their way. Um, uh, what's your impression of the team thus far over these first 6 games from what you've seen on the field?
yeah. I mean, so we started off following them for preseason down in Charleston, right? So up until last week was the first game I pretty much missed them playing. I couldn't make it to Philly for various reasons, but yeah. So if we're talking about the MLS themselves, right? I mean, DC United, there was we scored first, but the goal was offside, right? And then they had that BS penalty, and then they had two deflections,
Mhm.
right? So, I feel like nobody has really played us out of the park. I
Yeah.
mean, even the Galaxy, right? It took a really good goal to beat us.
Mhm.
And then when we went to Atlanta, right, you guys got the deflection too, right? Right there at the end, like the 94th, 95th minute. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's really outplayed us yet.
Right.
Philly kind of, I don't know what happened last week in Philly. We kind of came out with a 5-4-1, and that's typically not what we've seen. We've been kind of doing more of the 4-4-2 diamond sort of thing, right? That's worked for us. And once we kind of went into that sort of transition after halftime, you notice we were more in the game. But, again, against Philly, right? I mean, that second goal from Kalina was just a gift to Philly. We basically just passed it to him, so there wasn't really too much we could do about that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I don't. We're not afraid to come play, right? I think our the way we like to play is possession and passing and just kind of controlling the ball. So there's going to be mistakes because we like to play out the back as well, and so it's going to happen. But like I said, I don't think other than the Philly game, I can honestly say that anybody's really outplayed us.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the DC match. The scoreline really flattered
Oh,
DC more
100%.
than it should have. And I didn't see that match,
Right.
personal reasons, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing. The scoreline certainly flattered them. You all did beat Cincinnati, of course. Y'all
And
beat
New
New
England.
England. Yeah,
Yep.
y'all beat New England, which I mean, you look at New England. I mean, they're a strong side, but they've really hit a rough patch. But no, you're exactly right. From what I've seen, uh, you all have hung in there. Charlotte have hung in there, and it's really a
Yeah.
testament to Miguel Angel Ramirez's um, philosophy, I guess. What's sort of his? And you kind of mentioned already, but what's sort of his mindset from a tactical standpoint? You mentioned playing out the back. What are some other things that you've seen over these first 6 matches?
Yeah, I mean, his motto is kind of like, basically, this is not verbatim, obviously, but basically it's more along the lines of like, what's the point of not taking risks, right? And, like I said, we like to play more possession, we like to, I think we've been too slow once we get to the top half of the field or the top third of the pitch. I think that's been really our issue, especially against Philly. We would have a couple of quick breaks, and then all of a sudden we'd end up passing our way back to the keeper. Um, but overall, I mean, it's a risk game that we like to play, and it's exciting to watch. But when when we see shit like what happened on against Philly, you kind of like just scratch your head and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's going to surprise some people. I mean, New England was a big one, right? I mean, they got Bruce Arena as their coach, right? I mean,
Mhm.
he's been around the block,
Yeah.
right? And that was our first game that we won, so that speaks, like you said, maybe New England's not as up to par as they were last season yet, but they're still New England, right? And
Sure.
and we had to beat them, so and we did. So that was a great win, and it led us into playing Cincinnati and another win. So we had 2 games right there. So yeah,
Mm. You mentioned Christian Kalina and the howler he had against
yeah.
Philly, but watching him against Atlanta United, he was terrific.
Oh, he's
He
been
had
a beast.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah,
had good command of the game. He made, several saves that really kept, Charlotte in it. I think, um, maybe with a little more, I guess, luck on y'all's side, Charlotte's side, they would have gotten out of Atlanta with at least a point, certainly maybe
yeah. I
3
think a
points.
point would have been fair, but
Mm.
it is what it is. We'll just take three on Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
right.
We'll see what happens. But tell us a little bit more about, Christian Kalina, just his journey to MLS. Again, what you've seen of him over these first few matches. I mean, of course, he's still finding his way in the league. He's new
Right.
to the league, but again, from what I've seen from him, especially in the Atlanta match, and taking away, of course, what happened to Philly, he's been really strong for Charlotte and really an anchor for that defense.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I think it was the Cincinnati game. We actually had the question who was the goat on that team, Kalina or Carol Swiss. I call him Ghost Swinsky. I always screw up their name, so I just give them nicknames myself. It's definitely not something easy to say some of these names, but
Right.
yeah, Carroll, he's been solid, man. Like, he's to me, he's like against LA, it could have been easily 3-4 nil before the first half to LA, but he just made some amazing saves and kept us in it. Against Cincinnati, we won 2-0, but at the end of the first half, he pulled off 2 saves that it could have been a completely different
Mhm.
conversation going in at halftime. And so yeah, I mean, other than the Philly thing, obviously, the problem with keepers, though, right, is when they make a mistake, it's glaringly obvious. And, unfortunately, that gave him the second goal, which kind of just, sucked the wind out of us, I feel like, against
Mhm.
Philly. But yeah, overall, man, I mean, he's been brilliant. I can't fault the guy at all.
Yeah, and you mentioned Karol Swiderski earlier. Also, another piece in the offense that's coming is Kamil Josviak from overseas.
Mhm.
I believe he's on his way, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
going to
I
Charlotte.
don't think he's made it to the States yet. I think he was kind of wrapping up his visa stuff, and, Zoran, our technical director, basically said, he wouldn't be ready anyways for
Right.
Sunday, so hopefully next week.
Right. But going back to Swiderski,
Mhm.
just how he's done in MLS thus far, because here's another guy that's new to the league, finding his way in the league after spending all of his career overseas.
Yeah,
Um, what you've seen of him thus far, what has that adjustment period been like for him? I mean, he's found the net, several times already this season, but
yeah,
from what you've seen, uh, how's he been able to adjust, relatively quickly in this new league?
yeah. I mean, so, I mean, the LA Galaxy game, is a little rusty, you could see it, right? And then, like you said, he's got 4 goals, I believe, already, and, he's a workhorse. Like, he'll take that shot. He's good at holding up the ball. He's, yeah, I mean, he's like a cheaper version of Harry Kane. He'd drop back and
Mhm.
he'll try to get involved, right? And, yeah, he does really good, man. I'm glad we got him. I'm excited to see what he does, and, hopefully he can get that golden boot by the end of the year.
Mm. It's a bold prediction. Bold
Yeah,
prediction.
we'll see.
See if he remains in the hunt.
Yeah, yeah.
I I I do want to mention a couple of players that also part of the Charlotte FC lineup that um, are local
Mhm.
boys. Of course, talk about Jalen Lindsay. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah, for
spoke
sure.
about Ben Bender. The
Yeah,
Bender, of course, had the goal against Atlanta, the first goal in Charlotte FC history. And I
yeah,
want to kind of zero in on Bender first because, from what I've seen, he's quickly become a fan favorite. Um, I saw on social media the connection he's had with, one fan particularly I think saw him in preseason and they've kind of built a relationship or friendship. But Bender really seems like a kid that, obviously locally grown, locally raised, a kid that can really become a fan favorite. As far as his playing style, what have you seen from him?
Yeah, so just point out, Adam Armour was actually the first guy to score
Adam
for
Armour.
us.
I
Yeah, yeah,
apologize. That's what I
and
meant, Adam Armour.
yeah, and, Ben Bender, I mean, you know, I feel like he was just kinda plugged in just because going back to the comment uh, of Miguel, I call him Miggy Smalls. He basically, like you said, we were screwed, right? So we kinda just plugged Bender in because we didn't have any wingers, and,
Yeah,
when we started the season, and he basically he just took his chances, man. He's came in, right? You're playing a game, you get put in, you take your chance, and he's taking it, right? He's lit up. He's made some great passes.
mhm,
He's had some assists. He's had the goals. He's just, I mean, and he's a young kid straight out of college too, right?
right.
So, it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see. So, I think he'll probably start this weekend too. I think he may have already cemented his spot in the team. I guess it's just going to depend on when Jaws shows up, what Miguel wants to do. But yeah, overall, man, he's exciting to watch. He's not afraid to get stuck in, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think the alliteration threw me off, Ben Bender and then Adam Armour, so I think that's what kind of threw me off.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, Armour was the guy I was talking about,
Mhm.
local grown player,
Yeah.
from the Carolina, so
Mhm.
he's familiar with the soccer scene, in the state, so,
Yeah.
of course, had the goal,
Right.
against Atlanta, so you look at him, look at Jalen Lindsey,
Mhm.
it it's a really, really smart signing, especially in the case of Lindsey,
Yeah.
really smart acquisition to get players that already have these ties to the local area. I think, for what I've seen, fans are really rallying around them.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen is a Charlotte boy, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
he kinda got his start with, Sporting KC. We were lucky enough to interview him actually at the end of last season when they made that playoff run. His mom's really sweet, and I know she's excited to have him back. Um, yeah, I mean, from Charlotte, and then Adam, obviously, we got to watch him playing at the Independence last year, right? Since Charlotte was pushed back, so we've been able to build those relationships. Another one that's Bronico, right? He played for
Yep.
UNC
He's in
Charlotte. He's
Charlotte.
he's out of Greensboro, I believe. Played for UNC Charlotte. Played for Independence. Plays for Charlotte FC now. So he's done the whole trifecta there. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see that the team has kind of got the local roots in there, right? And Jalen just this week signed a new contract to
Yeah.
2024 with the option to 25. So yeah, man. I mean, they've always said they wanted to make stars and try to keep it as local as possible, right? Obviously, with
Mhm.
the DPs and stuff, you're gonna have to reach outside the league and
Right.
sometimes outside the country, even as you're seeing with that Polish connection. But yeah, overall, it's definitely a good spot to be in for these boys. And even some of these academy kids now are starting to play for independence and that sort of stuff too. So hopefully we'll see them come through.
Yeah, I saw the new signing that Charlotte FC made that has been let out to the independents.
Yeah,
One of several. So looks like that pipeline is really there. Maybe Yeah, it is really there in the Charlotte area, up in the Charlotte area, similar to Atlanta United, when you see players like Jackson Conway who
right,
could play a part on Sunday, players like George Campbell who has filled in nicely at the center back role
right,
as needed for Atlanta, on
yeah,
George Bell who's in Europe.
right,
Um, so it seems like a really similar philosophy, so to speak. And with Atlanta, it maybe took a little bit to take off,
right,
but Atlanta found players like Bella, who again is overseas, Campbell, who's come on strong in the time he's been on the pitch, Conway, who's still growing and learning in his career, and then
yeah,
some other players coming through the pipeline. Sounds like that kind of similar philosophy is there when it comes to younger players, local players between Atlanta and Charlotte that you
yeah.
might not see in a few other markets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the club's kind of said, right, they're building that relationship with independents. Like all last season, we would just go out there and watch the independents play. And actually, some of the boys are out there watching tonight as it's independence first game.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it'll be good to see how that relationship builds and that sort of thing. And then obviously at some point, I guess we're going to kind of have the second or the whatever they call it, right? The CLTFC 2 or whatever it's gonna
Right.
be, right? So that'd be interesting because right now I think our academy age stops around, like, 15, 16, maybe it is, and then there's no segue to the first team unless you're that good, right? So,
Right.
it'd be interesting to see how all that pans out too.
Yeah. Of course, Atlanta United too, joining MLS Next Pro next year
Yeah, yeah,
out of the USL Championship. So it'll be
yeah,
interesting to see how that rivalry builds up in the
yeah,
lower reserve levels, not
yeah,
just the first team, but the lower reserve levels as
right.
well. Another player that I have to ask you about is Anton Walks,
Yeah,
who Atlanta United fans know very well. He is a
yeah,
keystone player for the franchise
yeah.
throughout his first few seasons. Um, what's kind of your relationship been with him? How is he been kind of adjusting to things up in Charlotte? He hasn't played, or he didn't play, obviously, well, when Charlotte were down here
Yeah, it was
against
injured.
Atlanta. How has he kind of taken the things thus far in his brief career up in Charlotte?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy, right? I mean, obviously he came from Spurs, right? So he's already a solid guy in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I mean, he was injured. I think he got his first start last week against Philly.
Mm,
Again, maybe not a good representation of what he can do. I'm not saying he played bad, just saying that overall, I just think we came out too defensively. Um, yeah, but it's I haven't seen a lot of him play yet.
right.
I know just watching him when he was with Atlanta, he's a solid defender and
Mhm.
a solid MLS defender at that, right? So yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I know that Miggy has been he's been switching back and forth in his back line. So we'll see what happens. I doubt he'll start this weekend, but I could be proven wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Of course, like I say, he has very fond memories of Atlanta United.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see if he
I
does
can't believe y'all
play.
let him go, man. It was
Yeah,
you know
I mean, he was such a valuable player for Atlanta
Yeah, yeah,
United,
for
and
sure.
a lot of folks up here or down here were really surprised that he was, left exposed
Yeah,
and not given a chance to re-sign a contract with the club
right,
because he was one of those ties to the pass for Atlanta United, his brief pass for Atlanta United, and really a player that helped the younger players, especially in the back line.
right.
I say younger players because Anton's not that
I
old
think he's only
himself.
like 24,
Exactly.
25, right?
Yeah, but compared to some of the other players like
Yeah,
Bello, Campbell, etc.,
right,
he was really that kind of guiding hand
right.
to really help the players come along.
Yeah, the veteran, if you will.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think about a 23, 24, 25-year-old being a veteran, but
I mean, I
yeah,
don't know what you
he
were doing at 23, 24, but I sure as hell won't be able to lead
exactly,
a MLS team, that's for sure.
exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. Want to ask you, and of course, with y'all being the MLS,
Mhm.
you all will be playing in the U.S. Open Cup, and
Yeah,
the draw was today.
yeah,
Atlanta United, 17 other MLS teams will enter the next round, the third round, and those teams included Charlotte FC, of course.
right.
Charlotte will be taking on the Greenville Triumph
Yep,
in Greenville.
yep.
Want to ask you first off,
Mhm.
I know Charlotte FC, they actually are not hosting because they'll be getting ready for the Billy Joel concert. I don't know if you'll be going to that at Bank of America Stadium,
No, I
but
won't be going to that, but I'll probably drive down to Greenville.
yeah, that's not a bad trip.
That's
But
about 2 hours.
yeah, but curious, Memorial Stadium. I saw it asked on social media.
Yeah.
Memorial Stadium, was that not an option?
Yeah, I mean, so I think I saw the same tweet, and I believe Nick Kelly even kinda responded onto it, right?
Right.
I think what it all kind of boils down to, I think, is what I read somebody say. I'm not sure the politics behind it, but basically it was, just for the independents in regards to soccer, at least, right? So, and then obviously, if independents were playing, it could get into some conflict with that sort of thing. So, I don't know. I mean, I would love to pack out Memorial Stadium because it's got a nice backdrop. It's a decent stadium. Now they've
Mhm.
renovated it and everything.
Yep.
Last year was the first year it opened back up after some time.
Yep.
And and obviously the Independents play there, and it's a decent stadium. It would be fun to see Charlotte play Independence at Memorial Stadium for sure. But we got Greenville, so we can only play the teams that are in front of us. And like you said, apparently Billy Joel's a little more important than the soccer game,
Atlanta had a muscle truck rally kind of preventing them from playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium a few years back
right?
for this Open Cup match, so can't
Yeah,
give too much grief there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
uh, as a Spurs fan, you're obviously familiar with the FA Cup
Mhm,
over in the UK.
mhm.
Uh, have you been kind of tracking along with the US Open Cup? Obviously, first off, and then what have kind of your impressions been of the Greenville Triumph, if you've seen any of them, or what have you seen of them?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, before Charlotte had a team announced, I wasn't really a big MLS fan.
Hmm.
Obviously, I couldn't pull for you guys just because you're Atlanta, and I mean, I kind of watched Seattle and watched those guys play, right? Just because they're Seattle, and yeah. So I mean, the concept's great, right? Having like the big teams, if you will, play the minnow
Mhm.
teams and just seeing where they go. I know we've had some Carolina teams knock out some big boys like,
Mhm.
LAFC, I believe they beat or, I'm sorry, LA Galaxy a couple of times. So, yeah, it'd be interested to see. Hopefully, with Triumph doesn't, stop us from progressing, at
Yeah.
least in the first round that we're in. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, the cup games are always special, right? Because anything
Mhm.
can happen. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we saw an example of Chattanooga FC, which is LA United's opponent in the third round.
Right,
Chattanooga, who are a lower division team, defeated Memphis 901, who are
right.
in the USL Championship 3-1.
Yeah, yeah.
So, those upsets are likely,
They happen.
especially at this stage. Yeah, especially at this stage of the competition. I remember Atlanta United were playing Miami FC
Yeah,
in 2017. They were knocked out, I believe, in the fourth round of the US
right.
Open Cup. So Atlanta have been on the other side of that. It's kind of funny because each Open Cup that we've been in,
Mhm.
we've played, I believe, the Charleston Battery every single year, I
Yeah,
believe.
right,
Uh, not the case this time because you're defeated by South Shore Tormenta. So
right, right. Yeah, yeah,
Charleston Battery, who are very familiar with the US Open Cup, will
right.
not be in the field for the third round. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, for sure.
not a lot of MLS fans, I guess, fully appreciate the US Open Cup.
Right.
And no, to be totally honest, it's kind of given the brush off by some MLS coaches. So I'm
Yeah,
interested to see what Miguel Angel Ramirez, being new to MLS,
yeah.
thinks of the concept and how he prepares his club for Open Cup, especially against a Greenville Triumph team who'll be out for an upset into
Yeah, yeah.
advancing
I
the fourth
mean
round.
I mean, you see it in the FA Cup and all the other cups around the world, right? Even, like, if you start talking about, like, I don't know, UEFA and all that, right? I
Mhm.
mean, the managers seem to come out and put their second team out just to
Yeah,
give them a run out and see what's there, and then that always comes back and bites them in the ass, it seems like.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, being new to the league, I would hope that we would come out with a strong team,
Mhm.
obviously they set high goals early on saying that they were gonna we were gonna make the playoffs. It feels like they're kind of backing down a little bit from that now, but
Mhm.
I don't know after our 2 wins, I feel like we're in a good spot if we can push on. We got a tough run in right here, and then we play Miami and Montreal and those kind of guys, which I think
Mhm.
we should win. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would hope that we would just go all out and try to win it. Why not? First year, right?
yeah,
And see what we get a trophy. Why not?
yeah. I also interested to see Gonzalo Pineda's approach to it. Gonzalo Pineda has played in the Open Cup.
Mhm.
He's coaching the Open Cup. He's actually won it, I believe, as a player. So
Right.
compared to Tata Martino, compared to Frank de Boer, who
Right.
had no exposure to the Open Cup, I would
Yeah.
say compared to Gabriel Heinze, but the Open Cup wasn't played when he was here. Plus, he was fired.
Right.
But I interested to see what Gonzalo Pineda does as a former MLS player and what kind of advantage it gives Atlanta United because they haven't had that in the past. They haven't had a coach that can fully appreciate the Open Cup. And like I say, he's played in it, he's won it, he's
Mhm.
coached in it as an
Right.
assistant with Seattle. You're just
Right.
talking about. So I, I mean, I think Atlanta will be up for it. I think Gonzalo Pineda will be definitely up for it. And
Why
you know,
not?
given granted, Atlanta have several injuries. Of course,
Yeah,
Joseph
y'all got
Martinez being
some
one of
key
them.
injuries.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, that will really dampen the mood and really throw a wrench into what he would have in mind. But
Right.
we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's a fun concept. It's a fun tournament. Like I said, I know a lot of MLS fans don't really appreciate it all that
Yeah, I mean, you
much.
can't disrespect the team you're playing against either, right? I
Right.
mean, just,
Exactly.
for us, Greenfield Triumph, I mean, that's a big game for them, right? So,
Exactly.
like you said, anything can happen on the day, man. All it takes is one foul in the box and a BS penalty that we
Yeah.
seem to always have against us. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
see what
Never
happens.
know. You
Never
never
know.
know. Hey, before I let you go,
Mhm.
I gotta ask you about Roscoe. I mean, Roscoe's had a featured a little bit on the
Yeah,
Charlotte FC Fan TV channel in
yeah, yeah.
recent weeks. So, what's his take on how things are going?
I don't know, man. We have no idea who this guy is, right? He just some random guy that calls into the show. He talks his junk, and then like for the last week or two, we haven't heard from him. So I'm sure he's going to show up after the Atlanta game.
uh,
It's so yeah, the Southbound and Crown Shipping Department made this flag for me behind me, right?
nice.
So yeah, yeah. So it's cool. It's he got a lot of love when with his chicharita and all that, and he had more shots in the margarita or some other mess like that. And one thing that I really loved that he said, the best thing coming out of Atlanta is 85 North.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I will say as a former Charlottean, the traffic is a lot more manageable in Charlotte than it is
Oh,
here in Atlanta. I'm sure you saw it
yeah.
when you were down here.
Yeah, it's a
So,
mess, but it's getting worse up here, man. It's getting worse. Everybody's slowly coming down here or up here, wherever they're coming from. It's getting a lot worse, for sure.
yeah, yeah, I haven't been up there in a minute, but I definitely plan to get up there.
You coming Sunday?
I will not be there Sunday.
Right.
I really wanted to be up there Sunday, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, maybe in the future, maybe I can
Right.
make it up there.
Yeah, I mean, you drive all the way up here, just watch your team lose. That would suck
Uh,
in the ass. 2-0 Charlotte, by the way.
wait, 3-0 Charlotte?
2,
2-0.
2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. I was gonna
yeah,
ask you for your score prediction.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
tough
we
because
gotta take advantage of you. You got, like, 6 key players out, man, and,
exactly.
I mean, Martinez is a big loss for you guys. Not that he played too well against us when we were there, but he's still somebody you can't ignore, right?
Oh,
And so
100%.
yeah, yeah, so I think, this is a good chance for us to beat y'all this week.
No, I think, and you mentioned injuries for Atlanta United.
Mhm.
It's been really a mess unit to say the least.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a mess for sure.
Auriel Costa saying on Facebook, "1-0 Atlanta win."
Yeah, good luck with
I
that, Ariel.
I could see that. I could see that, but I mean, I will say 1-1. I'll say 1-1 draw. I mean,
Conservative of you.
yeah, considering some of the key pieces out for Atlanta United, considering
Right,
that the striker position, who it looks like Dom Dwyer will be the backup, and if he doesn't go, it'll be Jackson Conway or Ronaldo Cisneros,
right.
loaning from Chivas. I think it'll be Dwyer starting at striker. But I mean, outside of that, midfield, just a lot of pieces missing. The forward
Guys are falling
position,
apart already, and it's early in
yeah,
the season.
exactly. It's really hamstrung Gonzalo Pineda as to how he wants to put his philosophy into place for Atlanta United, this being his
Right,
first full season. So
for
I'm going
sure.
to say 1-1. I'm going to say that maybe Atlanta scores first and then Charlotte adds that equalizing goal to take a home point and really rally the Bank of America Stadium crowd.
Yeah.
But that's just how I see it again, just because of the injuries.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, that's fair. I mean, it's fair, but I mean, we circle back around on this, right? And see that 2-0 was the final score. And hopefully we score first if you guys do
uh,
score, but we'll be pretty solid at home. So it'd be interesting to see.
yeah, it should be a fun match.
Yeah.
Sunday
Regardless,
afternoon
there's gonna be a lot of
crowd.
banter going on. And we
Yeah.
welcome all you Atlanta boys up. I know we talk a lot of crap on Twitter and all that, but it is, right? People say it's a forced rivalry. I just think it was gonna happen regardless.
I agree.
It's fun. It's always in good fun, so don't ever take anything that you see from our handle, don't take it personally. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, should be a fun match. National TV audience on ABC, John Champion Taylor
Yeah.
Twellman calling it on
Yeah.
ABC. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are, Lee, looking
Yeah,
forward to
yeah,
it yourself.
100%.
Hey, thanks for
I
coming
hear we
on.
got a great tifo for you guys too, man. I can't tell too much on it, but I hear you guys it's gonna be a lot better than that one that y'all pulled up.
Oh, man. Well,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see about that. We'll let the fans be the judge of that.
Yeah,
Hey,
cool.
Lee, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, buddy, appreciate you inviting me.
I know a lot of folks will be looking for Charlotte FC content, so definitely
Mhm.
go to CLTFC Fan TV on
Yep.
all the social media
All the
channels. And
social. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Lee, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Alright, buddy. Take care.
Thank you. Lee from Charlotte FC Fan TV joining me on Five Stripes tonight this evening. So I mentioned the U.S. Open Cup, and the draw was held earlier today, as I mentioned earlier today on Friday, as we're coming on live. And Atlanta United, of course, as we mentioned, playing Chattanooga FC from the NISA for the NISA at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw. And just before he came on the air, it was announced by U.S. Soccer, and I tweeted it out at Dirty South Sock on Twitter that kickoff will be 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, April 20th. Again, Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw. No information on tickets as of yet. The club will announce that in due time. But again, Wednesday, April 20th, 7:30 p.m. kickoff at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw. Atlanta United and Chattanooga FC in the third round of the U.S. Open Cup 2022. Lady United, of course, are the current holders of the U.S. Open Cup. It's kind of weird to think about since it's been so long since the U.S. Open Cup has been held. 2019, of course, the last edition where Atlanta United beat Minnesota United 2-1 in the final. Of course, the pandemic ensure that a 2020 and 2021 edition would not be held, but it is back, the US Open Cup. I'm excited. I know, like I said, not a lot of, there's some MLS fans who kind of give it the cold shoulder, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And as we mentioned, hey, some lower division teams could be ripe for upsetting some higher division teams, Inter Miami. Never mind. You didn't hear that from me. But in all honesty, it should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how Atlanta United does. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Gonzalo Pineda, better than Tata Martina, better than Frank de Boer, better than Gabriel Heinze, who, of course, coached during the pandemic and wasn't around for US Open Cup anyway. He understands more than any of those three previous coaches that I just named what the US Open Cup is all about. Again, he's coaching the US Open Cup as an assistant in Seattle. He's won the US Open Cup, so he fully understands uh, the importance of it and how it relates to Atlanta United wanting to win as many trophies as possible. Now, with the injury situation, as I mentioned earlier with Lee, that really throws a wrench into his plans as to what exactly his philosophy will be um, for the U.S. Open Cup. And I'm led to believe that if he had a full strength lineup, if he had everybody healthy, he put out a first team lineup every single time out there. That's just my opinion. That's just my thought process. Taking into account, of course, MLS matches and having to navigate that. But I believe that would be his philosophy because, again, he knows what this competition is all about. He has had experience in this competition. But, with the injuries to Joseph and other players, again, the injury list is just long for Atlanta United. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how he plays it in a couple of weeks. But before that, of course, Charlotte FC on Sunday and MLS play 1:30 kickoff Sunday on ABC. That does it for me for Five Stripes tonight. You can follow me at SHRights on Twitter, SHWRITS. And of course, for the latest Atlanta United news, analysis, opinion, go to dirtysouthsoccer.com, SB Nation's home for all things Atlanta United. My name is Sydney Hunt. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next time. Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Five Stripes tonight. So long, everyone.